You're handcuffed. I don't know what to do. I can't afford not to pay these tickets, and I can't afford to get them.
That man has racked up hundreds of dollars worth of parking tickets. He says it's all because of unfair parking laws in the city of Lancaster. And he says he's not the only one dealing with the issue.
Jackie DeTore joins us now to explain if anything can be done to fix what some are calling a parking problem. Jackie?
Charles Dalton says he's one of probably 100 people on his block in Lancaster who have issues with parking and numerous parking tickets. The Lancaster Parking Authority, though, says it's just doing its job. Fox 43 finds out if there's anything that can be done to benefit both the city and the drivers. Charles Dalton looks at his most recent parking tickets. In total, he's been slapped with about 30 parking tickets in the last year.
At least $500, probably more. That's probably a low estimate.
He has lived here on Coral Street in Lancaster for about 3 years and never had an issue with parking until the Lancaster Parking Authority took over residential parking enforcement last year.
They're just doing their job. And I understand that. It's hard not to get mad at them because they're the ones issuing the tickets, but that's what they're supposed to do.
Where Dalton lives on Coral Street is not a parking permit block, which means anyone can park there, and that also means spots fill up pretty quickly.
There is absolutely nowhere to park on this street when you get home here at the end of the day.
The only place he's allowed to pay to park right now to guarantee him a spot is this parking garage on Orange Street. That's about 14 blocks away from where he lives.
It's just not right.
He usually ends up parking on 3rd Street. That is a residential parking permit street, and he doesn't have a permit, hence why he's getting so many tickets. So yes, he knows he's wrong in parking there without a permit.
I know I am, but it's the only place to park, and I take my chances. Some days they don't get me, a lot of days they do.
Charles says he wants to park on 3rd Street, but he was told he can't park here because he doesn't live on this street. And the only people who do live on the street live in these 3 homes. And they have all of this parking, which Dalton says is about 25 spots.
I want to be able to park on this street. That's all I want. Even if I have to pay a $35 permit a year. That's better than paying all these tickets. That's all that I want. That's all that these neighbors want, is the opportunity to be able to park there.
Another option for Dalton is to petition the Lancaster City Traffic Commission to get his section of Coral Street to become a permitted street. He would need to get about 75% of people who live on that street to agree, and Dalton doesn't think that would happen.
You're handcuffed. I don't know what to do. I can't afford not to pay these tickets, and I can't afford to get them.
Fox 43 Finds Out asked the Lancaster Parking Authority if Dalton can park on 3rd Street and pay the $30 a year for a day and night parking permit on that street.
Typical to the ordinance, if someone is not on that block, they cannot park on that block. Now, there's always a process that they can go through. They can go to, they can make a petition to the City Traffic Commission and plead their case of why they should be eligible to park in a block that they're not a resident of.
Larry Cohen is the executive director of the Lancaster Parking Authority and has been involved with the city parking for 17 years. In that time, he says he has seen some exceptions be made by the Traffic Commission. As for Dalton's case, he's not sure.
If you allow one person to park in their block who's not part of the block, don't you agree that you'd have to allow everyone to park in that block who's not necessarily allowed to park in that block?
However, he does say everything is considered on a case-by-case basis.
You don't know what the outcome is going to be, but be heard and see where you go from there.
The next Lancaster Traffic Commission meeting is scheduled for January 9th. That's this coming Tuesday at 3:30. Dalton says he is trying to rearrange his schedule to make that meeting and plead his case to the commission. Of course, if anything changes, we'll be following the story to see what happens. And if you have a story you want me to look into, Fox 43 wants to find out, let me know. Send me a message on Facebook or shoot me an email at fox43findout@fox43.com.
It's scary because I have no control of trying to make myself better.
That woman believes her electric smart meter is impacting her health. She says she has a doctor's note to prove it.
Fox 43 finds out how even that may not be enough to get rid of the new electric meter. Jackie DeTore joins us now with what the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission has to say.
According to the PUC, you can't just opt out of a smart meter in Pennsylvania. So what happens when even your doctor recommends you go back to a mechanical meter for health reasons? Fox 43 finds out. For Sarah Shepard, having a smart meter at her home in Dover, York County, is a headache.
I talk like this now when I'm home.
She has a traumatic brain injury and says ever since her electric company installed a smart meter near her home, she's been having intense migraines and has been stuttering.
It's scary because I have no control of trying to make myself better.
Shepard told her electric company, MedEd, that she had a medical issue and didn't want a smart meter. She sent over this letter from her doctor recommending she not have a smart meter installed. MedEd confirmed officials were in contact with Shepard over the issue and told us that, quote, a medical letter does not exclude customers from the installation of a smart meter. The electric company eventually came in June and installed the meter.
They left me no choice.
Shepard's husband, Bobby, couldn't believe it.
I don't care who you are. When you go against a doctor's written documentation, you got issues.
Then the Shepards say they contacted the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission.
We were told that they weren't taking any more complaints on the smart meter. So basically,
They hung up.
The PUC told us that's not true, and it had no record of communication with Sarah Shepard. A spokesperson told Fox 43 it's likely Shepard did not call the Consumer Protection Hotline. Even so, under Pennsylvania law, no one is allowed to opt out when it comes to smart meters. However, if you do have a specific health concern, you do have the option of filing a formal complaint with the PUC. The Shepards say they plan to do that.
The meters need to go.
The meter's got to go. Whether I have to run a generator constantly, the meter's got to go. It's going one way or the other.
The Shepards wouldn't be the first family to file a formal complaint with the PUC about a health issue from smart meters. There are a number of cases under consideration right now, all similar to the Shepards' claims. No final decision, though, has been made on any of those formal complaints. The closest the PUC came to a decision was on the complaint made by Susan Kreider of Germantown. However, Kreider passed away this year before the PUC Board of Commissioners made their final decision. Her family decided they didn't want to pursue that case, so it was thrown out. And again, MedEd told me it's not up to the electric company if you get a smart meter or not. That falls under the PUC jurisdiction, and that is the only agency that has the ability to make a call if you can get a smart meter or not.
Wow.
It'll be interesting to see if more cases come forward and where it eventually heads. So.
And again, there's still smart meters being rolled out across Pennsylvania. Until 2023, not everyone in the state will have one. So these formal complaints may keep coming in, but who knows what will come of it.
Yeah,
And I could be honest, I don't even know if I have one or not.
I don't either.
I'll have to check when I go home.
This is the second story I've done on the 7. You haven't checked?
Well, you know,
I think-
the bill comes once a month, I pay it, and I go on my way. So.
And you don't have migraines or anything
That's
that are
right,
prompting
so,
you to
yeah.
look into
There
it,
you
I
go.
suppose. So,
And now if you want more information on how to file a formal complaint and any laws regarding smart meters in Pennsylvania, you can head to our website, fox43.com. And if you have a story you want me to look into, Fox43 wants to find out. Let me know. Send me a message on Facebook.
When's the last time you hired a plumber that was young? There are not too many young plumbers around.
Some people who work in the trade industry say there are just not enough qualified, skilled workers. And that reason for that may start long before high school graduation. Fox 43 Finds Out looks into a different option for your career path, one that may not only save you money, but could help you earn more money too.
Manufacturing, welding, plumbing, these are all jobs trade industry experts here in central Pennsylvania say need young workers.
Everybody has the same pain. Can't find qualified people.
Wes Geib has worked in the manufacturing industry for 50 years. It wasn't until recently, when he went to a career fair, that he realized there just aren't enough recent high school graduates considering technical training.
There was 125 employers. Of 20 of us were looking for a graduating class of 13.
With the economy improving, Geib says there are hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs open in the U.S. Those jobs require specific technical training that you typically won't find at a traditional four-year college. Geib, though, believes many high school students don't even know technical training at a trade college or VOTEC is even an option. Damian Broodbeck, a senior at Northeastern High School in York County, was one of those kids.
Traditional school, that's all I thought there was. 4 years, and then I talked to guidance and they helped me.
He's heading to Thaddeus Stevens College in Lancaster County after graduation to focus on engineering CAD, something he realized was an option after chatting with his guidance counselor, Eric Bierker.
It's like a buffet. You want to give people an opportunity to look at all the options and then they're going to make a decision which is best for them.
Sometimes that decision comes down to dollar signs. According to a recent study from the Idaho Department of Labor, the average cost of a bachelor's degree in the United States is $127,000, while the average cost of a trade school education is about $33,000.
They can actually make more sometimes in their 2-year degree, technical, hands-on trade training, vocational training, than they would in a 4-year degree.
Now, that can be harder to prove. The jobs that require a bachelor's degree have a big range of salaries, and those that require a technical degree do too. Age and experience are also big factors. However, there is some data from the National Center for Educational Statistics. On average, a person with a bachelor's degree earns $46,900 a year, while a technical school grad earns $35,720 per year. Again, take those numbers with a grain of salt. It's just really hard to study something that broad. However, Damian Brobick says he'll be done with school at Thaddeus Stevens by the time he's about 20 years old, and says he'll be making about $50,000 a year.
I want to have a job set in stone before anybody else has done their schooling.
Marcy Beggs will graduate from Thaddeus Stevens in a few weeks. She has a water and environmental technology job lined up. She says she'll be making at least double the starting salary as most of her friends with bachelor's degrees.
I wanted a career and not just a job somewhere.
Katie Sura is one of Beggs' instructors at Thaddeus Stevens. She says her recent graduates are all making decent money. Sura thinks it's hard to talk to high school students about salaries, though. She says she tries to break it down for kids at career fairs, but thinks teenagers just don't understand what a livable wage really is.
Students graduating from the program will earn a good wage. They're able to support their family. They're able to, afford a house and a car and some vacations and stuff. What do you think that means? And I got answers back starting at $10,000 a year.
No, her students are making much more than $10,000 a year, Sura says.
Somewhere between $18 and $22 an hour.
One reason guidance counselor Bierker thinks these trade jobs are paying well right now is because those gigs are hard to outsource.
You can't call a Mexico or China and say, could I please have a plumber show up at my house on a Sunday night because my toilet just overflowed.
Even so, Geib and experts at Thaddeus Stevens say recently more people are considering a trade industry job. There are still just not enough bodies, though, to do the work.
That one company is looking for 95 welders every year for the next 5 years. Thaddeus Stevens isn't turning out enough welders in a year's time to supply that demand.
Obviously a lot of information coming out of that, but it just seems like a lot of these kids who are coming out of these, technical colleges and with the specific training, they're making a lot more money than you and I made when we graduated college.
That was about a quarter of that salary, so
Yeah.
that's not too shabby coming out of college.
It's something to look into if you don't know what you want to do. If you have something specific that you like, go for it. But if you're not sure, something to look into.
Good options.
And if you have a consumer story you want me to look into, Fox43 wants to find out, let me know. Send me a message on Facebook or shoot me an email at Fox43 Finds Out at fox43.com.